Diane Stanley Sews and Knits. I'm Diane, and I come to you from Yorba Linda, California, where I live with my husband, Paul, of 47 years, and our Labradoodle, Martha Stewart. Today I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've finished, some of the things I'm working on, and some of the things I hope to work on. I will start, as I always do, by what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing the Addison tank. I'm going to scoot the camera back just a bit so you can see it. This is a pattern by Helen of Helen's Closet, and I was a test sewer for her, the pattern tester. So this is not the final draft of the pattern, but Helen is so helpful and loves all the input. So as you can see, it's a little big in the armholes for me, and the dart was a little low, but I made it out of a Carolyn Friedlander lawn. I'm going to scoot this back now. And the fabric was wonderful to sew with. The pattern is a cropped tank, and I really like the wide shoulders here so that you don't have bra straps hanging out. And the crop version is just really cute. It also comes in a non-crop version, and I know I'll be making more of these. I was lucky enough to be a pattern tester, and I think it was about a month ago that we finished it, and she launched her pattern sometime in July. It's a great pattern, very versatile. Even though it's a simple pattern, it's such a great tank. Good for beginners or intermediate sewists of all kinds. And it's got a facing, you can almost see it here, a really nice facing, and she gives explicit, perfect instructions. Very clear to understand, and just an overall great pattern. Now I'm going to talk about what I finished. And last time I talked to you about the things I was working on, and there were a lot of sweaters, and I was trying to design a shawl, and I kind of got overwhelmed with all of that, so I needed a really quick project. So I ordered some Malabrigo chunky weight yarn, and in the color Ravelry Red, and I believe the other color, I want to say claret, but there was not enough contrast. So I overdyed the other color to get a really nice contrast to look like a buffalo check, and then black, of course. And the white is wool chunky, or super chunky, I believe. And she no longer carries this base, but this is in the color natural. And it's really cute. I put a pom-pom on it. I don't know if I'm gonna leave the pom-pom on it because I might give it to one of my sons, and I don't know if guys like pom-poms, but it has a removable pom-pom that you just attach. You sew a button on. I don't know if you can see that. And then the pom-pom has an elastic loop that you put it through the hole at the top of the hat and loop it over. This pattern is called the True North Toque, and I didn't write down the name of the designer, but you can find it on Ravelry. It's a great pattern, made it in 3 hours and one night. So this is something that I know I'm going to make more. I have enough yarn to make another one exactly like this, and maybe even a third one. I'll just need to get the contrasting color. So I'm sure my grandsons and all my sons would love a hat like this. If it would only be cold enough to wear it here more often. Today it is a sweltering and very humid for California day. The weather's been extremely hot, as it is all over the country right now. So we are blasting our air conditioner, staying cool, staying inside. The air is also very unhealthful, so there's been warnings, and my allergies are out the window, as they say, or through the roof. Just crazy ridiculous. So excuse me if I clear my throat a few times. I also still was not ready to go gung-ho on the projects that I was working on. So I decided to cast on the Ranunculas sweater. This was another really quick one skein project. It's a beautiful lacy looking sweater. I made it with my single ply fingering weight, 100% superwash. This is in the color Peach Kiss. And people were wondering how I got it out of one skein, but I think it's not quite as big. I know it's not. The schematic measurements, mine is not that big, but I didn't want it super big and loose fitting, so it fits more like a t-shirt, and it's really cute. I just need to get a little tank to wear under it because I don't have anything that will work. And that 3 evenings, so probably a total of 10 hours maybe. So that was another quick project, and then I was ready to get back to my WhiteHorse sweater, and the pattern is by Caitlin Hunter, and let me get it, it's right over here. And I am very close to finishing this. Since we last met, I have finished one sleeve, got the whole body of the sweater finished, and I'm just on the ribbing. And then I'll just have one more sleeve to do. I love the shape of this sleeve. It's sort of puff, and then it goes to the cuff, and it fits about right at the elbow. It's got gorgeous lace and baubles. And this is in my Soyu base, which is a wool, silk, and yak base. It's DK weight. And the color, I'm going to get the color because I always forget the name of it. It's named after a beach in Hawaii. And it's called Kaihalulu, which has red sand. This is the color. You can see it. It's a very pretty pinky red. And so I probably will finish that sweater by the weekend. I'm working a lot dyeing yarn, so I haven't been knitting as much during the day, but I still knit in the evenings before bed. And then of course on those sleepless nights that by now you know that I suffer from restless leg syndrome, so I'm up a lot during the night. So I get a lot of knitting done when most people are sleeping. I've also been doing a little bit of sewing. I have made a couple of project bags. One was for myself. I'm actually working on a prototype to see if I want to add these to my Etsy shop, but it's cute. It would hold a couple skeins of yarn, and it's got a zipper and a pocket, and this is something that I came up with the design myself. It's got some contrasting binding and a flat bottom, so it stands up very nicely, as you can see. I made it out of a Anna Griffin. I believe it's a linen fabric. That's sort of a stamped linen, and then the lining is just I believe it's a Michael Miller fabric, and a contrasting pocket. I used a YKK zipper, which is a little heavier weight zipper, so it gives the bag a nice sturdy feel, and I really like it. I think it's cute. I just don't know if I want to take away from my personal sewing time to make bags for my Etsy shop, because yarn dyeing takes a lot of time, and it's not just the dyeing, it's then the photography and the scanning and marketing and all those sort of things. So that's something I have to think about. I'm not real sure that it's going to be something that I want to do, but I will think about it. I might just make them for gifts here and there when I need to, or if I'm feeling I want to sew something but I don't have a project in mind, maybe I'll just make a few and put them in the Etsy shop. I also made another one of my bucket totes, or basket totes I should say. This is a real fun pattern, and this time I used a cork fabric. Cork is such a sustainable, great fabric. It's all natural. It comes from Portugal, and this is a Ravelry Paper Company canvas print, which is one of my favorites. And then I always line my big bags just with a white or off-white duck, because when a bag is big, if there's a colored or pattern lining, it's hard to see what's in it. So I've got a couple things in here because I have a special guest coming tomorrow that I'm going to be gifting this to her. But I can't tell you who it is, but hopefully when I'm allowed to share. I'm really excited. I can't believe that she's coming to my home to interview me. But this is a basket tote. It's got handles with cork finished on the webbing, and it's a fun project to make. I've also been dyeing up a storm, but I'll talk about that at the end. So if you're not interested in the business part of Dye Lot Studio and Diane Stanley Sews and Knits, then you can just turn it off. I say a lot. I need to work on that. Oh, there I did it again. I will really try and work on that. I have lots of projects that I want to make, and I really have been watching a lot of podcasts. Lately, what I really love is Sandy by the Lakeside. I love her easy manner, the way she talks to the camera, and everything she makes is beautiful. I have been taking notes. I just want to cast on everything that she's made. And her ease in front of the camera is what really has impressed me. I think she's been blogging or had her podcast channel for about 2 years, and she's just a delight. I'd love to meet her someday in person. We've had a very, excuse me, my eyes, the allergies are killing me. We had a very busy 2 weeks. The week of July 4th, we watched 3 of our grandchildren here at our home while their parents and their older brother went to Dallas, Texas for a volleyball tournament. And Jack's team did very well. They came in second, so they're ranked second in the nation, 16 and under, which is very exciting for us and for him, and especially for his dad, who loves sports. And while we had the kids here, they spent a lot of time at our other son's house, who only lives a mile away, because they wanted to play with cousins, because grandparents are boring. But we were so tired. We were exhausted, and they weren't even here 24/7. They were so good, and the hardest part was all the dishes, and everybody likes something different to eat, and they had a sleepover here and a sleepover at my son's house, and just lots of fun. That was at the beginning of July 4th week. Then July 3rd, we live in a planned community that has a man-made lake, and there was a little boat parade, so we all went to the boat parade, and my husband loves to make fun of it because it's so rinky-dink compared to some boat parades, but my 17-year-old granddaughter was like, "Papa, it's just fun, it's tradition, you can't make fun of it, that's just what we like to do." So I'm glad that she likes the traditions that we've started, and hopefully we'll continue those with her own children once she gets older. And so the kids had fun at the boat parade, and we took Martha down there, of course, and just sat alongside the lake and watched the boats go by, and was very patriotic, and we felt very nice. And then July 4th, my son here had a barbecue and pool party. So we spent the day up there. The kids swam, and I knit, of course, because I don't really like to swim. And just talked and had a good time. My son and daughter-in-law always put on a nice spread, and we just barbecued and ate and talked and watched the kids play, and it was very fun. We had 3 of our 4 sons there, so that was nice to have everybody. And then July 5th, we all went to and had a beach day, cookout, and bonfire. And I don't know if you remember, but on July 5th, California had a pretty big earthquake. And we were all at the beach, and we were starting to pack up and get things organized before it got too dark that we didn't know where things were when it was time to leave. And all of a sudden I turned around and saw that my whole family's standing up looking toward the street. And I'm like, what's going on? I said, you didn't feel that? I said, feel what? We had an earthquake. And it was a big earthquake. And once they pointed it out to me and I stood still, then I could feel the sway. You know, the earthquake was several hundred miles away from us, but because it was so far away, it lasted a very long time. You could feel the rolling in the ground. And of course, some family members who shall remain nameless were like, is there going to be a tsunami? And of course, there wasn't a tsunami because the earthquake has to be out in the ocean for there to be a tsunami. But we laughed about that, and then my youngest son said, Mom, can we spend the night again tonight? We don't really want to go home if there's going to be an earthquake again. So he and his wife and their little 2.5-year-old spent the night again. So we had a full house again, and it was just a really good week. And then last week was my birthday. And it was pretty unremarkable, as birthdays are as you get older. Our poor little Martha Stewart had an ear infection, so we ended up not going out for my birthday and went out Friday night with friends instead. And then Paul and I will go out one day, maybe next week. She's still recovering from her ear infection, and she's almost 100% well. She's not acting like she hurts anymore. The next section I usually talk about is, oops, I did it again. And I did. I already showed you what the yarn that I made the hat out of. I mean, I showed you the hat already, so you saw the yarn. And then I also, for my birthday, bought myself a little gift. And I ordered this from Firefly Fibers. Oops. I've been wanting to try Julie Astlin, I think is how you say it. Julie Astlin's Nurtured Fine. And this is a lace weight, and it is Rambouillet, Targhee, and Merino, 100% wool. And I'm going to hold these, I think I'm going to hold this one with this and make the Love Notes sweater, which is very similar to the sample that Tin Can Knits used when they made out of La Bien-Aimée, but they used mohair, and mohair for me is just too hot in California. I love it for a hat. It really works well for a hat. It really keeps you warm. But I think I'm going to just try it with this lace weight wool. And then the other one I haven't decided what I'm going to make with that. And then I also bought myself a new fringe supply bag. And this is I believe it's called the Field Tote. And I bought this from Firefly Fibers as well. And it's a nice roomy bag. It has a pocket on the inside, and it even has these yarn guides. Can you see that? Which I think is so smart. Especially if you were doing color work, that would be great to have that coming through there. So hopefully your yarn wouldn't get all tangled up. I think that's all I bought. Yeah, I think that's all I bought. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been dyeing. Oh, but let me show you this. Can you see the tips of my glasses? I don't know if it's gonna, let's see. Martha Stewart, let's see, I think I need to do it like this. There. Martha Stewart decided to chew on my stems of my glasses. So they're not fitting very well right now, and I have ordered I had to order the whole new frame. But they were very nice and gave it to me for half price, which is still a lot of money. But at least I won't be scratching my head every time I put my glasses on. And boy, she got in trouble. She kept looking at me like, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. But she is usually such a good girl, and I don't understand why she did that. I don't know if and she was mad that we went out to dinner or something, but anyway. All right, so what I've been dyeing lately. I mentioned mohair, and I do love knitting with mohair, but this is the begonia colorway, and I think I need to have something in front here so that you can't see my face there. Is it not? There, how's that? That's begonia. I just think it is a gorgeous color. I remember in the 60s, I think my mom had this for a hair color. It was sort of a very light strawberry blonde. It looked very pretty on her. This is Pixie Dust. I might have shown some of these before. I don't remember now. This is Amethyst. This is Azalea. This is Plumeria. This looks so pretty, and I wish it smelled like Plumeria. I've got Jupiter. And Azure. I do a lot of bending and reaching high. I'm not organized enough yet. I'm hoping that these are focusing. I also dyed this. This is on my Monarch Merino Cashmere nylon base. And this is called Kristy. It's really pretty, sort of a sea foam, not really sea foam. Yeah, maybe a sea foam green, pinks, purples. There's even a little bit of yellow and orange in there. It's a really pretty one. And this base is so soft and squishy. It's one of my favorites. And then this one is on my Joy Fingering. It's a merino nylon. And this is called Lilac Cordial. And I'm also working on some more Soldotna crop kits. It's been one of my most popular kits, and I'm going to make this one. I don't have all the kits ready yet because I ran out of yarn, so I had to order some. But I think I'm going to make a Christmas version, and I think this is just going to be stunning. Isn't that so pretty? And then my husband likes it with the gray instead of the gold, which is also really, really pretty. Can you see them all? It's just really, really pretty. So those, I think I'm going to be taking pre-orders for these, but I'm waiting for my yarn, and then I'll take pre-orders, and they'll be delivered sometime in September. The last thing I have to talk about for my shop is, you know, I was just getting so discouraged. I've only been in business since September, and business has really slowed down the last 2 months. And I was talking to a friend yesterday who also has an Etsy store. She sells fabric. She's called Knotted Thread, and she sells quilting cottons. And she said, don't worry about it. She said, summer is so slow. She said, of course, teachers aren't working, so they're not spending money. Working moms have kids home, so there's no time to craft. And it's too hot for crafting for a lot of people, especially for knitting, unless they just do one little, little hat or something. So that being said, yesterday I got an email and somebody wants me to do a wholesale order. So it's my first wholesale order, and I am so excited. I'm going to be dyeing up Storm. She wants it by the middle of September, so I've ordered all my yarn, and it'll be here in about a week, and then I'm going to be super, super busy. Since I'm only a woman show, there's a lot of hours that go into it, but I love it so much, and I hope to get it all done and then maybe get another wholesale order. So that was real exciting news for me yesterday, and I actually couldn't sleep, not because of the restless leg syndrome, but because I was so excited last night to think about the colors I'm going to do for her, and she's given me free reign to do whatever I want, and so that's really, really exciting. So that being said, I think this is kind of a short podcast today, but like I said, I have a special guest coming to see me tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be able to tell you about it next time we podcast. And it was great to see you, and I hope that you'll come back and visit me again. If you like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up. And I am very open to suggestions. I know that it's going to take some getting used to for me, talking to a camera instead of a person, and I hope that you will leave me a comment, either yes, I like this, or no, I'd like you to see you do more of this sort of content. I talked a little bit about family today, and I didn't tell you about the quilt that's on the wall. I've put both of the quilts that I have from my Stitch Tees Bee up on the wall because I want to get back to working on them. So I'm going to flip the camera and see if I can show this to you. All right, let's see here. Will it work? Well, maybe it's not going to work. So let's flip it, and I can show it to you that way. So this is my California quilt that my Stitch Tees girls have made. These are all blocks. I asked for California themed blocks, and that's just really fun. I'll make a few more blocks to get a decent sized quilt, and I have to do a little puzzle work to get them working. And then that was last year's quilt, and then this is this year. I was queen last month, and this is, I asked for faces, and this has presented quite a challenge for everybody, but I think they've risen to the occasion, and I'm anxious to get more faces and to see what I can do with all these. So that being said, this is Diane Stanley. Oh, there's my bathroom. Diane Stanley, and I will sign off. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.